If you close a card in good standing, that good payment history stays on your credit report for at least 10 years. Do your research on if you do close a credit card, make sure that it has a zero balance during the time that you close it. For instance, say you have the American Express Everyday Preferred card that has a $95 annual fee, and you no longer want to pay that annual fee, or you just can't justify paying that annual fee any longer. If you've had that card for at least 12 months, you can downgrade it to the American Express Everyday card, which has no annual fee, and you'll keep your same credit limit as well as your age of credit.
Let's go!
It's your boy Sledge from the Sledging Team, back on another 850 Club credit video. And today, we're going to talk about when it's appropriate to close a credit card. And you know your boy Sledge gets straight to business, so let's get to it. Now, closing a credit card is a decision that should not be taken lightly because it can have both positive and negative effects on your credit score. So let's dive into some factors that we need to consider before making that decision. I'm going to give you some pros and cons on canceling credit cards, but the ultimate decision is going to be yours. Now, one reason to cancel a credit card is due to high fees. So if your credit card has excessive fees and no benefits to go along with those fees, that credit card is not worth keeping. Now, another reason to cancel a credit card might be because you don't use the card. Now, I don't recommend that you apply for any card that you don't intend on using, and also make sure that you use all your credit cards so that they stay active. But your boy does understand, especially early in our credit card journey, that we might pick up some credit cards that are no longer useful to us. If you have a credit card that you no longer use, before you decide to cancel it, think about if you have a small recurring payment that you can put on that card just to keep it active. And if you don't, it could make sense to cancel it, because if you don't, more than likely, if you don't use the card in a certain amount of time, the credit card issuer will. And if a credit card is canceled on your credit report, you want to make sure that it's in good terms, because that could determine how it affects your credit score. Somewhere down the line, you might pick up credit cards that have better terms or rewards than your current credit card, and that might make you think about canceling. But before you cancel, you might want to consider these factors. Is your older card a no annual fee card? Can both of your cards work together? If you answered yes to both of those questions, or even one, you might want to consider keeping your card open. The main reason to keep a credit card open is because age of credit makes up 15% of your credit score. So sometimes canceling a card isn't the best option. You'll have to think about the negative impact that closing a credit card has on your credit score, especially if you're new or newer to credit, because closing a card in those instances will indeed have a negative impact on your score. Not only will it decrease your age of credit, it'll also decrease the amount of credit that you have. And if you're someone who likes to leave a balance on your credit cards, it will increase your utilization, which is definitely not good for your credit score. But I never recommend leaving balances on your credit card, because over at Sledge Inc., we 100% are against paying any type of interest to the credit card companies. Another thing that you might want to consider before you cancel a credit card is do you have any reward points with that particular credit card issuer? More than likely, you're going to lose all of those points, miles, or cash back if you cancel that card. So that's just something to consider. What about downgrading a credit card? Does the credit card that you intend on canceling have a downgrade path? For instance, say you have the American Express Everyday Preferred card that has a $95 annual fee, and you no longer want to pay that annual fee, or you just can't justify paying that annual fee any longer. If you've had that card for at least 12 months, you can downgrade it to the American Express Everyday card, which has no annual fee, and you'll keep your same credit limit as well as your age of credit. There are several cards that have annual fees but also have downgrade paths. And if you're unsure about your card, just contact your credit card issuer and make sure. And then there's retention offers. Some credit card issuers will give you a retention offer so that you keep their card in your wallet for another year. Retention offers are offers that are extended by the credit card companies so that you continue to use their cards. More than likely, if you get a retention offer, it will require you to spend a certain amount of money in a certain amount of time for a certain amount of points. The points that you get from retention offers are going to be way more than the points that you get from your normal spending, because those free points are going to compound with the points that you get with your everyday spending. So if you're on the fence about canceling a card, contact your credit card issuer and see if they have any retention offers. Now, if you have a card that has a balance on it that you're having a hard time paying off, before you cancel that card with that balance on it, if possible, you might want to apply for and transfer that balance to another card that has 0% interest for a promotional period. This option will more than likely give you somewhere between 12 and 21 months to pay off that balance with no interest and without closing your current card. But after saying all of that, I want to make this clear. I recommend that you keep open any card that does not have an annual fee. There's really no reason to close those cards, and they can only add to your age of credit even if you only use them sparingly. But at the same time, do not be afraid to cancel a card that has an annual fee if that card no longer brings you any value. Remember, age of credit only makes up 15% of your overall credit score. So if you close a card in good standing, that good payment history stays on your credit report for at least 10 years. Do your research on, if you do close a credit card, make sure that it has a zero balance during the time that you close it. When I was in my credit rebuilding stage, the very first card that I got was the Capital One Platinum card. Eventually, they upgraded that card to the $49 annual fee Quicksilver One card. Problem is, your boy already had the regular Quicksilver card that has no annual fee. And those two cards have the exact same benefits. Long story short, your boy eventually canceled the Quicksilver One because Capital One would not allow me to upgrade this card, which is trash. Do your research on Capital One putting you in a bucket and not allowing you to do product changes or get credit limit increases. But back to the Quicksilver One card. Now keep in mind what I said earlier. This is the very first card that I got when I started rebuilding my credit. But when I could not justify paying that annual fee, your boy canceled it. Did it have a negative impact on my credit score? Of course it did, but only a few points. And that's mainly because I don't leave any balances on my credit card. So when that card closed, it did not increase my utilization. But since then, I've canceled many credit cards over the years when I could no longer justify the annual fee. And I've also downgraded cards for that same reason. You're looking at somebody who pays over $3,000 in annual fees. And here's an example. I have two American Express Platinum cards, the regular Platinum and the Charles Schwab Platinum. The annual fee on these cards is $695 a piece. I intended on canceling the regular Platinum earlier this year in January when the annual fee hit. But the reason that I didn't is because American Express gave me a retention offer of 70,000 membership reward points. And for me, that's a minimum of $700 in travel, along with all the other benefits that come along with the Platinum card. For me personally, it just makes sense for me to keep it another year. But next year, your boy is more likely going to cancel it and only keep the Charles Schwab Platinum. But as for cards that have annual fees but no benefits, like the Surge card and the Fit card, who have excessive fees but no benefits to go along with it, do not hesitate to cancel those cards. Now, if you use those cards to get back in the game, that's great. But past that, those cards are only taking money out of your pocket. But if you like this content or was just entertained, hit that thumbs up, share this video, but most importantly, drop a salute emoji in the comment section. And go over to the Sledge Inc. Team channel and subscribe. And remember, the separation is in the preparation. It's your boy Sledge. Salute.